Hey everybody, good evening. It is Thursday evening, I think, and the rain has finally subsided. I feel like it's been raining for like the past 48 hours. It's kind of been crazy, but the garden has just exploded with all the rain. Nothing quite does as good as rain for the garden. So I'm really excited to show you guys the garden tour this week because some things have really popped up. But I wanted to hop on here tonight and have a very thoughtful conversation. I really enjoy things like this. It's thought-provoking. It's not meant to pick at one person or another. It's just like, it's really a conversation starter. And I was listening to Garden Like a Viking, if you guys watch him on here, Nate Murray. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. I've heard him say it, but I'm not real good with pronouncing names. Anyways, Nate is wonderful and I love watching his videos. He's very knowledgeable and extremely smart. And he was talking about, let's call them atmospheric injections. Not sure if that's gonna, flag me, but all the little hash marks up in the sky. And he was talking about, the chemicals, and did he think that people were doing it on purpose, trying to poison everybody on the planet? And his theory is, well, you'd have to just go watch his video. And I totally get where he's coming from, and he does raise some really good questions, like who is the person that's making all these things, and where are they bringing them in to put them into the plane, and all these things. Just go watch his video. It's really, really thought-provoking. But my thoughts and my theories on this, I don't believe it's being done under the guise of let's poison the planet. I believe it's being done under the guise of, how do I say this? I know it's going to get flagged anyway, so we might as well just say it. But let's do this under the guise of, preventing climate change. This is going to help everything. It's a very green thing that they're trying to block the sun's rays, and it's being sold as a good thing. Is it poisoning all of us on the planet? That is, who knows? There's really no control to go off of at this point, because you really can't test things previous and now test things now, right? So it's really difficult to say, and we may never know the full answer, unfortunately. But the reason I think this is because, one, nobody is going to do something intentionally to harm the same planet that they live on. But if you were told that you're going to save the planet that you live on, well, that sounds a lot better, doesn't it? So we don't know what the repercussions of these chemicals are. But here are some things that I've noticed that do affect us. So number one, we know that when we go outside, we see airplanes, and sometimes the little trails behind them aren't very long, and then they dissipate out into the air. But there are some days we go outside and those marks are long and seemingly permanent in the sky. It takes forever for them to dissipate. And if you observe things, if you're an observant person, most of the time, I'm not going to say every time, but most of the time after you see those hash marks in the sky becomes oddly overcast. And I say oddly because it's not like today. This is stormy weather, so like there's clouds and general haze, and it's normal. But oddly overcast is, it's like somebody took the same paintbrush and then blended it in so everything is exactly the same amount of overcast. There's no breaks in it or anything. Like, it's just this permanent overcast look. It seems unnatural to me, to my eye, when I look at it. So there's that. And it happens often when I watch the skies, Then the other thing that I have noticed more recently, actually, it just connected, is the past few years, I know this is going to sound so silly, but using myself as a control factor, right? What can I gauge? What can I use to kind of come up with things I can use myself? And I used to get extraordinarily tan, and some of you might be looking at me right now and be like, you are already pretty tan, but this is like pale white, pale pasty, as compared to how I would normally get. I And it's funny too, because I'm not Italian, but you know that beautiful rich golden tone that Greeks and Italians and all those type of Mediterranean places get. People would always ask me if that's what I was, because I'm not. But they would always ask me because of my tan. I would have people stop me in the middle of the stores and be like, oh my God, your tan is beautiful. I don't really get that anymore over the past few years. I can't even think about how many years it's been, but I do realize that it has been quite a few years since I've gotten that dark. And the funny thing is, I spend more time outside now than I used to because of this garden and how the farm has grown and everything, us baling hay and whatnot. So yeah, I mean, I used to spend a lot of hours in a nursing home building taking care of people. So I would spend even less time outside, or I mean inside than, or yeah, I would spend less time outside then than I did now. And I would seemingly get more tan. So those kind of things kind of connect dots to me. And what can we deduct that's concrete from this? I mean, I would think that we won't be absorbing as much vitamin D, which is very important. But how, again, do you test that? Because so many people use things like sunscreens and whatnot, which are terrible for you. So they're already absorbing less vitamin D. Like, these are things that you just can't test. So there are theories that we have, and I'm going to turn you around. I'm going to show you my garden, and you tell me. I mean, I don't see any damage, but that doesn't mean it's not there. And I'm open to conversation on this because I do see what I see, and I know that it's happening. But what the results are of that is hard to say. So I'm going to turn you around and give you a brief view of the garden so you guys can see what the rain has done for me. Here's my yellow onions. The red onions never grow as fast, but look at these garlic are almost as tall as I am. And I plucked some, I got my first salad today from my lettuce, so that's why these are looking sparse, but look how beautiful. The peppers are about to bloom, and the basil plant is just gorgeous. I do have carrots coming, see? So we'll be eating carrots before long, and beans galore. These are my dry beans. And these ones, like, I was having a lot of pest issues. I don't know what was chomping on my plants, but they're seeming to thrive regardless. This was the most impacted bed. So there was some sort of pest that was just eating the limbs off. I'm gonna reseed this one a little bit so I get my harvest, but yeah. So the rain has really fed this garden. It's really doing great. Those are my beets. Look at these pumpkins. Look at these pumpkins. These are those ones that I saved from the Amish seed saved from, and they're just glorious. But even these little stunted tomato plants that were so stunted in my greenhouse are really starting to take off. Look at these ones, were barely there. I thought for sure they would die, but no, they didn't. So you can see how lush everything is. Nothing seems to be negatively impacted. All the beautiful zinnias. So you guys tell me what you think. I am watering my tunnel because even though we've got an extraordinary amount of rain the past few days, obviously a high tunnel doesn't get the rain. This back bed though kind of does because of the runoff from the bank out there. So it's kind of a little damp. The rain kind of comes down that bank and in. So that bed kind of benefits from that. But the rest of this definitely needs a good watering. Everything in here is doing fantastic, and I have blossoms on some of my tomatoes. I'm so excited. I really feel good about the garden this year. Like, this cutting back has done wonders. These tomatoes look phenomenal. What do you think, Chase?
Yep.
No, I got blossoms on some of them. Look.
Yeah. You
Garden
didn't see
looks. Yeah, I see them, but
them?
I
Well,
mean,
you didn't see them when we last came in here?
I knew they were about to open up, but they're open now, so that means There are tomatoes in my very near future.
Those are
Get down.
strawberries.
Yeah, they picked strawberries today, the first 5 strawberries out of the garden. And I had my first salad out of the garden today. Very good things, indeed. So, So these are just some things that are good to talk about. Do I think something's going on in the sky? I absolutely do. I feel like we can look with our eyes and see it. Do I think that it's affecting the weather and the way things behave? I think that, but I have no concrete evidence of it aside from just my general observations. Do I think it's poisoning us? Probably in some sort of way it is or will be, I would imagine, just based on the fact that anything like that can't be really, really great. But again, I have no concrete evidence. And Nate posed a lot of questions that made you go, I don't know what to think. And I hate to make statements and not have evidence or concrete answers. I can only state what I observe. And if somebody has concrete answers, I would love to hear them. I love to hear your opinions. Generally, I believe we all probably have the same opinion of things. It's not great. I'm more concerned about what this does to our weather, because we've seen some really unprecedented storms across the country. And those are the things that make me go, So I also have one other thing that kind of popped into my head tonight. And that's why I like to kind of like come on here and talk to you guys in the midst and throes of my brain just functioning. And I heard about the new plane crash in, was it San Diego, California today? And just some things, this is how my brain works, okay? I had just listened to that video with Nate about the chemtrails, and then I was reading about the plane crash, and I kind of went, all these plane crashes lately, it's very weird. The planes just seem to be like falling out of the sky. That's one we hatched, huh?
No. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, you get to thinking, and we're being told that these are what causes the chemtrails are additives in the fuel. Like that is being added to the fuel. And that made me go, I wonder if that's why planes are mysteriously malfunctioning and falling out of the sky. I don't know. We'll never know. We could just speculate until the cows come home. But it does make you really wonder, like, if there's engine issues with the planes, could it be because of the fuel and whatever additives they're putting in it? Even if it is just meant to better the planet. Is it? So those are just kind of my my thoughts on it. I know we all have our opinions. Some of us think it's more nefarious. Some of us think it's not happening at all. Some of us, I don't know, maybe like me, think that it's not great, and maybe the people that, at the very top know that it's not great, but it's done under the guise of saving the planet. Leave your comments down below. I love to hear them. I love to have these types of thought-provoking, respectful conversations. I think it's important, and I think we as humans don't do this enough anymore. Everybody just gets very offended and shuts down. So let's have great conversation. Leave your opinions down below. I'd love to hear them. And go watch Garden Like a Viking's video about this, because he does have some very valid points, things that I hadn't really thought of before. And I like to see things from all perspectives before I can make my own opinion. That being said, I have an opinion. I just have no evidence to base it on. So that's that. I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.